This green energy experiment failed. It's a total wreck for taxpayers. Let's break it down.
5 major offshore sites off the coasts of Virginia and Massachusetts, as well as dozens of sites that haven't been developed yet. And this is a pretty big deal for a lot of people. That's why it was a huge announcement, like you said today. It comes just weeks after a federal judge in Massachusetts struck down President Trump's initial halt on wind projects. That judge, Martha, sided with 17 state attorneys general, calling the January ban, quote, unlawful, and arguing the Interior Department failed to provide a, quote, reasoned explanation for the sudden stop. But
for years, we've watched them reshape the American landscape to fit an ideology that put globalist climate goals ahead of our own national sovereignty. They dotted our horizons with these massive, clunky turbines, usually at the expense of our beautiful coastlines and the bank accounts of the working class. But the tide has officially turned. Thanks to a major legal win in a Baltimore federal courtroom, the Trump administration has pulled the plug on 5 massive offshore wind projects. We're talking about a shutdown spanning from Virginia all the way up to Massachusetts and Connecticut. They're now in a state of permanent suspension. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum isn't mincing words here. He's made it clear that the risks to our national defense and the insane costs to you, the taxpayer, can't be ignored any longer. We're watching a total shift in how this country handles energy. That old path of burning through subsidies for unreliable tech is being dismantled. In its place, a power-first strategy that actually prioritizes what works for you, keeping your lights on without breaking the bank. Make no mistake, pausing these projects wasn't just about the bottom line. It's a matter of national security. Internal reports and investigations found a massive failure to address how these giant steel towers actually mess with our radar systems. In a world where we have to stay alert, these arrays were creating dangerous blind spots in our maritime defense. The administration's move to wipe out these risks is already facing heat from the elites who made a killing off the green energy boom. But the priority here is the safety of our coast, not their profits. We're moving away from a world where you're expected to pay higher bills just so a politician can engage in some virtue signaling. Instead, the focus is back on natural gas pipelines and domestic production, real resources that provide a baseline of power that wind just can't touch. This is about energy dominance, not being dependent on someone else. The legal strategy used to kill these permits shows that the era of regulation by decree is dead. It's been replaced by a hard line on the rule of law and protecting our natural resources from industrial blight. Of course, the critics are already screaming. They're claiming this halt is going to kill jobs and set back the fight for the environment. But if you look at the actual data, it tells a different story. It's a story of projects that couldn't survive on their own, requiring billions in taxpayer bailouts just to stay alive. The administration is arguing that by killing these duds, they're actually saving the American consumer from financial damage that would have stuck around forever. The goal now is to rebuild our industrial core with energy that is actually reliable and affordable. We're seeing a return to traditional values where the market, not a government office, decides which tech wins. The climate communism that used to dictate how you live is finally meeting some real resistance. While the media cries for the developers, the forgotten men and women on the coast are finally seeing their horizons restored. This is more than just a change in the rules. It's a reclamation of the American spirit. We're making sure our energy future is built on strength and common sense, rather than the empty promises of a green utopia that was never going to happen.
This report is complete, but the fight is just beginning. Subscribe now to stand with us.